I, Tasneem Baldiwala, working as an assistant professor, School of Pharmacy, Parul University, I feel privileged to extend my greetings to all present. I feel uh, res- uh, I feel privileged to extend my greetings to all present over here. That is respected M.N. Patel sir, Provost. Yes, sir. Respected M.N. Patel sir, Provost, Parul University. Dr. Abhay Dharamji sir, Dean, Faculty of Pharmacy. Dr. G.S. Chakrabarti sir, Principal, Parul University of Pharmacy and Research. Dr. Lalit Lata Jha, Principal, School of Pharmacy. And Mr. Hansal Gandhi, Research Associate, Regulatory Affairs, Indus Pharmaceutical Limited, Ahmedabad. On behalf On behalf of Faculty of Pharmacy, Parul University, I welcome you all in dignitaries to grace the online event webinar that is Roles of Regulatory Affairs in Pharmacy. Today we have with us Mr. Hansal Gandhi. Sir has in more than 5 years of industrial experience. Sir has completed his master's in pharmaceutical regulatory affairs from Gujarat Technical University. Currently, Sir is pursuing PhD in Regulatory Affairs and working as Research Associate Regulatory Affairs in Stas Pharmaceuticals. Sir, you can continue.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for having me. So let's start with the presentation. So the title is Roles of Regulatory Affairs in Pharmacy. So we should go by the contents. So what is the regulatory affairs? Then requirements of RA department in pharmaceutical industries, why this department is required. Then role and functions of regulatory affairs department. Then influences on regulatory strategies, which factors are affecting the creating a regulatory strategies. Then key regulatory competencies. Then regulatory compliance.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Can you use earphones or something because surrounding double time the sound is coming.
Okay, yeah, just a second.
Yes.
Okay, so now it's audible?
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is regulatory affairs? Then it's requirement of our department in pharmaceutical industries, roles and functions of regulatory affairs professionals, then influences on regulatory strategies, which factors are affecting us by creating a regulatory strategies, then key regulatory competencies, then regulatory compliance, then brief idea about ICL guidelines, then common technical dossiers and ECPD formats, then type of queries and post-approval process, and idea about RA and RA professionals. We are discussing these things in detail. So let's go by what is regulatory affairs. So the regulatory affairs department of a pharmaceutical company is responsible for obtaining approval of a new pharmaceutical products and ensuring that approval is maintained for as long as company wants to keep the product in market. So this is the purpose of regulatory affairs department. And let's see by one. So role of regulatory affairs department starts with the procurement of raw materials. So when the raw material is received, like drug substance, excipients, packaging materials received, so we regulatory affairs department professionals are looking after the technical documents. Like if the drug substance is received, we are looking at DMF. Then if it is packaging materials, we are looking after specs and MOA. Then if it is excipients, we are looking after the certificates which are provided by the suppliers, like suppliers certificate of analysis, then suppliers manufacturing details, then TSC, DSC certifications, melamine-free certifications, then research and development. So when the raw material is procured, it is transferred to the R&D departments, and we are preparing batches. So in the preparation of batches, we are providing residue solvent matrix. We are looking after the overall pharmaceutical development reports, providing inputs in that. Then after that, the formulation development is developed. Small scale batch is developed. We have to increase it to the commercial level. So in that commercial batch preparations, we look after the guidance like scale up and post approval changes, and accordingly we will provide our input. So once product is finished, we have to look after its specifications, release and shelf life specifications, limits. Then in the quality control department, quality assurance department, we are looking after all things, and also in packaging. So what is this requirement of RA department in the pharmaceutical industry? So pharmaceutical industry is the highly regulated industry among all other industries, and regulations are put in order to develop the most efficient and safe pharmaceutical products. That was the main purpose of a pharmaceutical department. And regulatory requirements are part of the process of drug discovery and drug development. So these are the two aspects. And regulatory affairs provides insight guidance into the product development through the knowledge and expertise gathered from the reading the guidance, previous experience, market precedents, and it helps to reduce the number of development failures. So this is also a part of regulatory affairs department. Then regulatory requirements describe what is necessary for a new drug to be approved for market in any particular country. So you should be very well versed with the country-specific guidance, whether it's US, Canada, or European markets. And role of the RA. So the role of RA is to identify and compliance regulatory requirements. So identification is the main requirement, because if you are visiting any FDA guidance, FDA site, you will find that in a week they are posting about 4 to 5 guidance on a weekly basis. So you have to identify which guidance is applicable to you. Like if you are working in solid oral dosage forms, you have to only look after that documents only. Otherwise, there are many guidance and you will be getting confused by reading them all. Then to provide strategic guidance and technical advice to R&D, production and QC department of the company. So that is your pivotal role, that you have to provide a proper guidance to them. Then facilitate regulatory submissions and approvals. So PNDS and then entire life cycle management is your part. To keep the record of ever-changing legislations. So guidance are changing on a routine basis. So if you have referred any guidance which was published in 2018, so it is a matter of fact that by 2021 it might not be working. So by the 2021 they have updated the guidance. So you should be getting updated on a timely basis. And this is the main role, to coordinate with the government bodies and regulatory authorities. So regulatory is the bridge between pharma company and the government agency. So mainly the function is like a licensing agent over here. Then department assisted by regulatory affairs. So internal department of organization which are assisted by regulatory is the product development, which are formulation development and analytical development. So you are providing inputs in the development of residual solvent matrix. Then in analytical development, you have provide your inputs in analytical method validations, preparations, and checking the limits. Then research and trials. So based on DCS classifications, you are looking after the bio waivers and all other things, which trial method you should use. In the manufacturing, from the F&D to large scale productions, which are the methods you are using, scale up and post approval changes, that are your lookout. Then quality assurance and quality control. So you have to look after the SOPs and other technical data, which are like specifications, method of analysis and all. Packaging and development, you have to look after the USP general chapters and check that whether the spec or MOA which is received from this department is according to them only or not. If it is not, you have to send back and make it correct. Then functions. Functions of RA is to provide regulatory and technical inputs for the product development, prepare, review, and submit different regulatory submissions. So, as it states, you have to prepare submissions and all, act as an interface between internal department of organizations. So, you are the key personnel who is interacting with all other departments. Review and submit annual drug reviews, adverse drug reaction reports, recall coordination activities, and different regulatory guidelines. So, annual drug reviews are often considered as an annual report. So, in that, on once the product is approved, you have to submit on a yearly basis. In that, changes related to CMC, labeling, or any other packaging changes are there, you have to submit it to the authority. Then adverse drug reaction reports, if there is an ADR, you have to report it. Then recall coordination. So there is maybe like nationwide recalls, voluntary recalls. So you have to coordinate that activities also. And respond to the queries and deal with the drug regulatory authorities to obtain and maintain regulatory affairs. So query response is another important aspect of the regulatory affairs department. And to apply for the various certifications and arrange it for the audit and also work on the renewables like WSA, GMP, COPP, then another certificates are there. So you have to work on that and maintain a track and maintain that records also, so that you have to get the timely renewals of them also. And these are some common terminologies. So first one is IND, investigational new drugs, also known as HITS to LIDs. Then NDA, new drug applications. When a sponsor is filing the new drug applications, usual timeline to get the approval is approx 10 to 12 years. Then there is ANDA, which is known as abbreviated new drug applications. So abbreviated new drug is same like the NDA, but they can be only filed once the patent of NDA is expired. So usually NDA holder gets exclusivity of about 20 years, and after that the NDA can be filed. So Indian pharma industry is mainly focused on ANDA filing. Then there is DMF filing, which is called drug master files. Mainly they are for drug substance, packaging materials, and excipients. So drug master file is having two parts. One is the applicant part and one is restricted part. So in that applicant part, there are details about the sponsors are mentioned in that. And the restricted part is kept with the owner only, sponsor only. And there are CFRs, Code of Federal Regulations. Example is 21 CFR is for the DMF. And emergency use authorizations. So during COVID-19 situations, generic companies have got approvals for these molecules, which is remdesivir, hydrochloroquine, L-Basminarli. So mainly this type of this word is frequently used in this COVID-19 timing only. Previously, it was not that much popular. Then there is CTD, which is Common Technical Document Requirements. Then there is the ICH, which is International Council for Harmonization of Technical Requirements of Pharmaceuticals and Human Use. Then there is Marketing Authorization Applications. So like in USA, there are NDA and EMDA. In the Europe, application is named as MAA. And there are four types of marketing applications over there. One is centralized procedures. In centralized procedures, if you apply by this route, you can get approved in the entire 27 countries of the European Union. Then there is the decentralized procedure. So one by one, you can get approval of your product in these countries. Then there is mutual recognition procedures. In that, if you have got approval in one country, you can extend that on that basis, you can get approval of into another country. And then there is national procedures. In that, you are applying for specific only one country only. Then there is ASMF. ASMF is Active Substance Master Files. Like in US, it is called DMF. In Europe, it is known as ASMF. Then there is Certificate of Suitability. Then influences of regulatory strategies. So these are the three strategies which are affecting to create a regulatory strategy, which is the external influence, regulatory influence, and internal influence. So competitive product technologies, then patient compliance are the part of external influence. Then regulatory influences. So as there is updates in regulatory guidelines, accordingly you have to change your strategies. And internal influences like product development, manufacturing issues, technological transfer issues are there. So based on that, you have to prepare your strategies accordingly. Then key regulatory competencies. So which are the competencies you need to become a good regulatory affairs professional? So the first one is proper understanding of the pharmaceutical sector. So you must be aware about what is the current scenario and which product is more profitable. So accordingly, you can file that. Then knowledge of country-specific regulations. So you should be properly aware about that. Then ability to keep up to date on the current regulations. So reading the regulatory guidelines is must. Then drug development life cycle knowledge. So you should be aware about what is the product life cycle and how you are maintaining it. Critical thinking and data analysis. Then basic to advanced computer skills like MS Office, Adobe Acrobat Pro, any CP softwares, any new editors. Like in AMPAM, you can get the idea about these things. Organizational and project management skills. So work will be varied and time bound. So the ability to juggle different tasks efficiently is essential, and this is the part of your day-to-day routine. Then attention to details, good oral and written communication skills, as most of the work involves in communicating with inter-department staff, clients, and regulatory authorities. Negotiation and influencing skills, leadership skills. Once you got to the higher positions, these skills are necessary. Then teamwork in global environment and crisis management. So regulatory compliance. So it is very broad field. So let's go by the definition. So regulatory compliance describes the goal that organized aspire to achieve in the timely effort to ensure that they are aware of and take steps to comply with relevant laws, policies, and regulations. So mainly this approach is used to ensure that all necessary government requirements can be met without the unnecessary duplication of efforts and activities from resources. So suppose your company is filing to the one country, let's take example of US, and then you have to plan it for the European countries as well. So you have to check the resources that, since both countries are having CTD format and following ICS guidelines, so you can utilize the data which was filed in US. The same data can be utilized for the European market to prevent the duplication of effort, and by that you can save time and money as well. So this is the example in which phases this regulatory compliance is required. So in the research, approval, and commercializations. So while preparing a clinical development strategy, this approach is necessary. Then clinical trial applications, it is also required. When you are planning to file a pediatric investigation plan, this approach is also required. In GCP inspection, it is also required. Then scientific advice as and when required. Then orphan designation applications. So orphan designation is applied to the drugs which are meant for the rare treatment of rare diseases and affecting less than 2 lakh populations per year. So mainly you have to evaluate that whether your that market is the potential to file for these populations or not. Then submission strategies. So submission strategies are like whether you want to file in Europe like centralized DCP or mutual recognition procedures. So accordingly you would file it. Then marketing authorization applications, like same. Then GMP inspections, you need that approach. And whether these are for mainly for the European market. So whether you are to file by ECTD or non-electronic ECTD submissions, and its entire life cycle management. Then advertising, like in India, it is illegal to advertise your pharmaceutical products on TV, but in US, it's not like that. So you have to identify the target audience, and accordingly you provide your advertise on TV or other social media networks. Then clinical development strategy for new indications, like for example, let's take that remdesivir. Like initially it was used for rheumatoid arthritis, but now it's used to treat COVID as well. So accordingly, you have to provide sufficient data that yes, your product is good for this new indication as well. Then input into the variation and renewal strategies. So variation is a part of a post-approval process. So what inputs you can put in that? Then GXP like GCP, GMP, CGMP inspections, you have to provide your input. Then variation, post-approval applications, then submission to the other markets. Like as I said earlier, that once a product approved in another market, you can take that data and file it to the another country as well. Then product reclassifications, like previously your product was a pharmaceutical like RX, and from then you want to switch to the OTC. So how you can classify it? Then renewal submissions and product withdrawal. Once you have evaluated that there is no potential in the market, so you want to withdraw the product. So accordingly, you can withdraw it as well. So these are all the part of regulatory compliance. Then ICS guidelines. So mainly they are classified in 4 segments: quality, safety, efficacy, and multidisciplinary. The quality part, they are mainly focused related to chemical and pharmaceutical quality assurance. So guidelines related to stability, testing, impurity, specifications are the part of these quality guidelines. So when we are preparing the dossiers, particularly in module 3, we refer these quality guidelines. Then there are safety guidelines. So these are related to in vitro and in vivo preclinical studies like carcinogenicity testing and other things. Then there are efficacy topics. So they are related to clinical studies in human subjects. So dose response studies, good clinical practice, etc. So safety and efficacy guidelines are mainly used for preparations of module 4 and 5, which are preclinical and clinical part. Then multidisciplinary, we have the cross-cutting topics which do not fit uniquely into the one or above categories. So they have they are affecting overall dossier, which are like ECTD, CTD, and bioflavors, this type of things. Then pharmaceutical markets. So mainly they are divided in three parts: regulated, semi-regulated, and non-regulated. So regulated markets are like US, Europe, Japan, Canada, and Australia, which follows the ICH patterns. Like they have common technical format and using VCTD. Semi-regulated countries are like India, Asian countries, which is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, then Russia, China, Brazil. So these countries are also regulated, but they are not properly following CTD. Like there is Asian countries which are following Asian CTD, in which module 2 is like clinical quality oral summaries are not submitted in these countries, and they have the country specific product registration guidelines. And then there are third non-regulated markets. So mainly African countries are there, so they require very minimum documentation to get approval. So this is the common technical document format. So this is for a graphical representation purpose only. So as you can see, Module 1 contains regional information. So mainly country to country, this part is varying. So it is as it is said that it is not part of the common technical documents. Then there will be like module 2, which is quality overall summaries, which summarize module 3, module 4, and module 5. So then there is module 3. Module 3 is a main part of the CTD, which is also known as CMC part. So it contains informations like drug substance and drug product details. Module 4 is non-clinical study reports. So if you want to apply for a new drug applications, you require to submit this part. But if you are filing an ANDA, module 4 is not necessary. Then there will be like a clinical study reports. So this is submitted in all our applications. So this is the one by one module details. So I'm going with US ANDA type of format. So some details are not there as it is a abbreviated new drug application. So requirements are like signed and complete application form 356 at form. So in this there are 3 pages which contains drug substance and drug manufacturers informations, that BUNS numbers, and other necessary details which are required by the FDA. Then it will be having cover letters, a brief description about your product and why you want to file the product, what is its indications and other details. Then content and applicant informations. Then statement of right of references. In this, type 2 and type 3 DMF authorization letters are submitted, which are given by the applicants. Then basis of submissions, that on what basis you are submitting these applications. So in that we have to provide details of reference listed drugs. So on that basis we are submitting it. Then comparison between generic and reference listed drugs. So like mainly they are equivalent only. So the only difference you find is that RLD's name is other than the generic name. So other than that there is no difference. Then environmental analysis from the applicants, like it states that during manufacturing we are not affecting or harming anything in the environment. Then request for biowaivers. So like as per the BCS classifications, if your product is falling under class 1 or class 3, which is high solubility drugs, so you can get a biowaiver, and accordingly you can skip the submission of module 5 accordingly. So if your product gets biowaiver, you will have to submit only module 1, 2, and 3. There is no need to submit 4 and 5. Then there will be the details of the draft labeling and listed drug labeling. So in that you have to submit in Word and PDF format, as well as SPL is submitted in .xml format. And there is a module 2. So it is like a quality overall summary. In that for the US, they are requesting in a question-based review format. So it will be easy to identify that submit your details in a question-based format only. So the details are like, this is the summary of module 3 only. So details like drug substance, in that general information is required, then manufacturing information, characterization of impurities, control of drug substance, reference standards, and container closure system and stability data. So these details are mentioned in that. Then about drug products. So description and composition of drug product is given, pharmaceutical development, component and drug products, then drug substance, excipient, product development, manufacturing development, and container closure systems details are given in these sections. These are the manufacturing details, control of excipients, which are inactive ingredients, then control of drug products, reference standards and materials like the working standards and company developed standard details are there. In container closure systems, which type of container closure systems are used, like HDB bottles, vials, glass vials, sample cover bottles. These details are given. Stability, in that three batches stability data are given, accelerated and long terms. Then clinical summary. In that, biopharmaceutical studies and associated analytical methods details are given. They are summarized in a tabular format. Then 272 is clinical pharmacological studies. Then clinical efficacy and safety details are given. Literature reference, if you have referred any literature for that, you have to provide that details only. And synopsis of individual studies. So these details are given in this part. Then module 3. This is main part of the submission. 32S, drug substance. It is for the API. Like for example, if you are taking paracetamol tablets, the details about paracetamols are submitted in this part. So generally, generic companies are taking DMF from the DMF suppliers. So in that, we have to provide mainly reference to that part only. So mainly this part doesn't contain much details, but what it contains is enlisted here. So first thing is general information. So nomenclature, structure, and general properties of the drug substance is given. Then manufacturing details. So as I said earlier, in 3 by 6 apps, these details are submitted. So you have to maintain that both details are same only. Otherwise, FDA will raise the query for the same. So name, address, and full addresses of the facilities, contact name, phone, and fax number of that person, US agent name if applicable. So like if you have company's manufacturing plant is in US, there is no need to provide US agents details. But if you are exporting from India or any other part, you have to provide that details. Then you have to specify function of responsibility of that US agent, that he is the responsible to communication with the authority. Then type 2 DMF number for APIs, which is given by FDA. Then central file number, facility establishment number, and data universal number, DUNS number. So these are the numbers generated by FDA to maintain the record of all the DMF which are circulated around the country. So by this is their database, and these numbers are given by them only. Then additional source of API and its information. So generally, sometimes companies are doing they are taking two API suppliers to avoid dependency on one. So if there are more than one API suppliers, you have to provide same details for these applicants only. Then characterizations. So characterization is contains nothing but the potential impurity list, and these are given in the tabular format. Which type of impurities, like process impurity or method impurities. So you have to provide that details in a tabular format. Then control of drug substance. So these part are like specifications. So in specifications, you have to provide details like assay descriptions, residual solvents, impurity methods, related substance, particle size distributions, if there are any. So you have to provide that details with the limits in the specification parts. So after that, analytical procedures. In this method, the part of specifications which are mentioned are given provided its analytical procedures with proper calculations. Then in validation of analytical procedures, so we have like the EMVs. Like if your procedures are from the USP, there is no need to provide any justifications. You have to just mention that we are from the USP. But if it is non-USP, you have to provide proper validations. Then batch analysis, you have to provide three batches analysis and suppliers and your company's COA as well. And justification of specifications, if it is in USP, then there is no need to provide any justifications. You can go with that. But if it is not, then you have to provide proper justifications with like spectroscopy and other data as well. Then reference standards or materials. So reference standard details are also there in DMF, but you don't have to submit that details. You have to provide details by an analysis which was carried out by your firm. So in that details, you have to provide a working standard details, three batches details, and any XRD or other data which were carried out, you have to submit in that part. Then container closure system. So mainly drug substances are not manufactured in small, so they are mainly supplied in our big drum HDP bottles drums with plastic polyethylene bags. So they are like this system is mainly similar for almost all drug suppliers. Then the stability data. So whether you have to submit like details data or expiry period based on the supplier's details, you have to submit in this part. Then there is like a quality part, so which is drug product. So previously we have discussed about drug substance, and now we are discussing about drug product part. So in these sections, you have to provide description and composition of the drug product. So in that, you have to provide unique compositions with indications of functions. You have to provide the details of each and every substance used in the product, like drug substance and excipients, which are type of excipients you have used, lubricant, ligands, adherents, surfactants. You have to provide all that details. The details is also given with average amount per unit weight, and formulation is given like percentage to mg per dosage unit. After that, you have to provide elemental ion calculation as per the 21 CFR 73.1200. Then that maximum daily dose is also given by you, and you have to submit that detail to the FDA as well. After that, pharmaceutical development reports. So this is very essential documents, and sometimes FDA is raising queries for this part also. So the main components are like components of the drug product. So which are the components used in that? Like drug substance and drug products, formulation development. So which method you have used to develop your formulations? Like if it is tablet, so which method you have used, like dry granulations or dry granulations. Then overages details. So for solid oral product, this part is not applicable, but like for parenterals and injectables, this part is applicable. So in that, like if we are talking about recent scenarios, like for the vaccines, they are like giving 5 doses, but usually they are contain 7 doses. So both the 2 doses which are additionals are known as overages, and accordingly you have to provide the concentration that in what concentrations you have added, whether it's API or excipients. Then physicochemical and biological properties, pH and all other things are mentioned over here. Then manufacturing process development. In a flowchart format, you have to be given the instructions of manufacturing process and development. Then container closure systems, like which type of bottle you have used, whether it's HDP, which has resistant container closure is there or not, this type of features, and microbiological attributes. So in this part, you have to provide only statement that after commercialization, you will carry out analysis of these microbiological attributes. Then about the manufacturing parts. So previously we have seen about the drug substance manufacturing parts, and now it's about the drug products manufacturing parts. So in that, we have to provide details of the drug product manufacturers, and its batch formula details, about manufacturing, what formulations they have used, what are the critical process attributes, what are critical material attributes. These data are submitted in this part. Then description of manufacturing process and process control. So these are given in a flowchart format. So FDA sometimes raise concern for this part as well. So this is we have to develop by regulatory itself. Then control of critical steps and intermediates. So which are the critical steps, critical material attributes like tablet coating, tablet punching. These are the you have to mention over here. Process validation and evaluations. In this part, you have to provide reference to the 3-2R part. In that, we have to provide like regional information. So you are submitting a detailed analysis of process validation over there. Then control of excipients. So excipients are nothing but the inactive ingredients used in the manufacturing. So these sections are like based on your inactive ingredients. It contains 6 to 7 excipients as well. So this section is quite bulky compared to other sections. So in that you have to provide specifications, analytical procedures, validation of analytical procedure, and justification of specification. So these 4 parts are remain same for all other parts like drug substance, drug products, drug excipients. So in this specification part, we have to provide testing specifications, which includes identifications and characterizations, and supplier COA is also submitted. Then analytical procedures. So specifications methods are analyzed and given proper calculations with the same. Validation of analytical procedures, you have to provide reference for the USP, and if it is not USP, you have to provide proper justifications. Then justification of specifications. In that, you have to provide certifications. Well, first thing is you have to provide applicant COA. Then you have to provide PSC, BSc free certifications, which is transmural spongiform encephalopathy and bovine spongiform encephalopathy. So this is like your product is free from any animal contaminations. That was the purpose. Then element-free certificate is also provided by you. And residual solvent certification is also provided in these sections, justification of specification. So these are the 5 forms which required to submit in this specification of specification part. And control of drug products. So details also contain same information like the specifications and other things are different. So specifications like for drug products, it was like if you are talking about solid oral products, so like the description is there, then content uniformity, amount per weight, MG per weight, then W percentage W by W. These are the parts, then residues of solvents, and particle size distribution, if there are any particles are there. Then analytical procedures of the same specifications we have to provide. Then validation of analytical procedures. So like this is something different than other things, which is like if you are using USP procedures, you must provide verification of USP procedures and sample statement of availability and identifications. So like FDA will not ask more details from you, but you have to provide the sample retention details that you have kept these samples, and you will provide as and when FDA is requested from you. So this is the thing. Then you have to provide finished dosage form information. Then for the batch analysis, in this part you have to provide certification of analysis from finished dosage form. Then it's 3 batches, lot number, and strength of the drug product. So 3 batches details and COA from both supplier and your form is submitted in this part. Characterization of impurities. Like see, impurities are same as per the drug substance, then you have to provide only reference of that drugs in the drug substance part, which are impurities are there. See, the same is here only. Then justification of specifications, you have to provide that. Then about container closure sections. In that, you have to provide detailed parts. Like for example, if you are taking about HTP bottles, so you have to provide details about that bottle. Then it's a closure, that whether it's a child-resistant closure or not. Then it's the weight details, if you are adding any desiccants like silica gel or not. Then it's grade details, type of DMF number details are given in that. Then specifications of the bottles, specification of the closures are given in this part. Then stability details. Stability details are given in 3 parts. First one is P2P81. In that you have to provide stability summary and conclusion of the finished biological form, that what details you have find out from these stability details. Then post-approval stability protocol and stability commitment. So you have to provide commitment that once your product gets approved, at which time point you are submitting your stability details and stability data. So in that 3 batches data are given, one of accelerated and one of long-term data. So minimum 6 months data is required to file a dossier. So that details is necessary. Then about regional information. So in regional information, there are 2 parts, P2R1 RP and P2RP. So in that first part, executed batch records data are given. So copies of executed batch manufacturing and batch packaging records are given. So 3 batches data are divided in 2 parts. You can submit in either way. So 2 pilot batches or 1 small scale batch or 3 pilot scale batches data are given. And method validation data. So which are given in 3 to people parts. As I said earlier, they are submitted here only. Then about module 5, clinical study reports. So in this, we have to submit the table of content and tabular listing of all clinical studies, which are like bioavailability or bioequivalence. We have to mention these details, like whether it's in vivo, in vitro correlation, that data is given in this part. Then bioavailability study reports and comparative BE study reports are also given in this. In vivo pharmacokinetic studies and in vivo BE studies with clinical endpoints. So mainly there are 3 endpoints. One is initial, one is intermediate, and one is final endpoint. So mainly concentration of drug in plasma is the final endpoint of these type of studies. So that we have to submit in detail. Then this was earlier we have discussed about entire CTD part. So how this thing is submitted to the FDA since it contains more than 1500 to 2000 pages. So we are submitting it in the PDF or Word format. So for that eCTD, there is a specific guidelines which is given by ICH, which is known as ICH INET guidelines, and accordingly we are submitting it. So the files are mostly in PDF format or Microsoft Word. Then eCTD is the electronic version of CTD. There is no difference between CTD and eCTD in terms of technical and technical content. So they are both the same. The only thing is it is submitted in electronic format. And main goal is eCTD is to enhance the process of submissions. So it will be very easy to maintain entire product life cycle. And that was the main approach. This is the difference between eCTD and paper documentation CTD difference. So overall table of content is provided in XML format, which is very easy since these all the data are very heavy and you have to identify each and everything by clicking individual folders. So in place of that, you have to provide only XML sheet and you can by clicking one file, you can get the entire dossier's access. Then utility files are to enable technical conformance and UV. Then submission folders, XMLs, and utility files are created automatically if an eCTD builder is used. So once you are using eCTD software, you can generate these things very easily. And high level of consistency in documents is observed. Structure is very more precise, and maintaining life cycle management is very easy. So these are the advantages of eCTD over paper form. And this is with regards to the US FDA. So US FDA made it mandatory from the May 5, 2017 for all ANDA applications. So these are the example of eCTD software, Pharma Ready, SubmitBot, NO, etc. There are many softwares are available. Then reports are validated by different field validators like Lawrence, Xtudo, Global Submits. These are the example of field validators. And document type definition version is used is 3.2 and schema version is used is 3.3. And if you want to go into details, this is the 21 CFR Part 11 compliance. So you can get the details, more details about eCTD. Then types of queries. So once we have filed this type of user in using CTD and eCTD software, you will get a goal date by the FDA. So goal date is nothing but a timeline given by FDA once you have filed your dossier. So usually it is given by 6 to 8 months from the FDA, and during meantime, FDA will review your entire dossiers and find out any queries if there are any, and accordingly your product will get approved. So these are the three major queries which are raised by FDA. First one is discipline review letter, then there is information request letter and complete response letter. So if you receive discipline review letters, FDA will provide you specific timelines like not more than 2 months, 2 weeks. Then for the information request, FDA will give you time like less than a month. And if you will get complete response, you have to submit details within 1 year. So if you are not providing like proper details or to the DRL or IR, your get queries will converted into the complete response and you have to respond it within a year. So what are the general queries concerned with the following points, which is biopharmaceutics, like if your product is able to get biowaiver or not, then clinical part, then quality part is there, labeling part is there, insufficient or inadequate data is submitted by you, then you will also get query, stability data, So stability in this part, like whether if you have provided skip testing details without asking to the authority will raise concerns. Then patent and exclusivities, like if there is any sort of patent infringement is there, you will get the query according to Hatch-Waxman Act. Then about drug substance, like drug substance part, if you acquired from another company, still the query will be given to the you and you have to respond it in a timely manner. So in that case, you have to coordinate with the drug substance manufacturer and accordingly, jointly you have to respond. In the product regarding to the module 3, you will get any queries and site inspections related issues. So these all the queries are like given in a format like DRL pharmaceutics, DRL clinical, CR quality, CRL stability, then DRL labeling, these sort of things. And reasons why marketing applications may fail to get approved. So these are the main three reasons why it gets rejected. First thing is application is not reviewable. The data are not adequate, application is incomplete, and sections or subsections are missing. So to avoid this, FDA has published one guideline, refuse to receive guidance, which is called RTR. In that, they have provided proper checklist that at least this data is required to get your submission to further review. Then your data does not show evidence of efficacy, and if the data is showing efficacy, they are having some safety concerns. Due to that, your product might not get approved. Then these are some terminologies which is used by authorities. So let's understand one by one. So generally authority will not give comment on something without reviewing the data. So they are very expert persons. They took the time of 5 to 6 months and accordingly after that reviewing your data, they will give comments. So if there is word must, it is very directive. You don't have any option to do otherwise. No clearly indicates the no. If FDA used recommend, it is not a directive, but you can provide your discussion and justifications in detail. Your word is very strong, but it is less directive than must. So in that you have to provide, you can also provide justifications in that part. Then interactions with the regulations. So don't ignore their advice as they have likely seen similar products and know the pitfalls. Like if you are talking about generic applications, for one NDA, there are almost 5 to 7 applicants are there. So reviewers have might seen similar applications and know that what are the pitfalls. So accordingly, they will advise you. Make your submissions clear. Ensure that you analyze answers and questions fully, and if they differ from advice, explain why they are differing. So accordingly, you have to provide your justifications. Ensure that your data is complete and consistent. Have a plan with dealing with the missing values. So if there are anything, you have to have justifications for the same. Always present pre-specified analysis carried out by your firm. So you have to provide only details which are carried out by you, and you have to know that yes, you have performed these details, and you are very strong about that. And this is about post-approval changes to the approved ANDAs. So once your product get approved, you have to maintain its entire life cycle management. So after the approvals, your work is also not finished. You have to provide this type of changes and submit it in this type of manners. So like if it is a major change, you have to submit a prior approval supplement. So you don't file a major changes by just like that, you have submitted in ECTD format only. So you have to take approvals. If FDA approves that, then and only you can submit this type of changes. Then there are moderate changes, which is like changes being effected and changes being effected in 30 days. So these are less moderate changes and minor changes. So they are the annual reportable changes. Once in a year, you have to submit the changes. So this type of changes are subdivided in other 5 categories. Changes related to manufacturing sites, then manufacturing process, specifications, container closure systems, and labeling. So let's understand it by one. So changes in the manufacturing site or transfer of manufacturing site of drug substance or drug products. So whether your manufacturing site is in Ahmedabad and you want to move it to the Mumbai, so you can't move it like that. You have to take proper approval, prior approval from the FDA, and then only you can submit it. Then moderate changes. So if there is change in manufacturing or process of in-process material, you can file CD. There is no issue in that. Then changes in manufacturing site of testing primary packaging materials, you can file CD 30. When changes being detected, zero, like changing in processing of final intermediate, these are submitted as a CDE zero. And if there is changing in secondary packaging or labeling or in imprinting of the solid oral dosage forms, they are annual reportable changes. You have to submit it annually. And about manufacturing process, so major changes are like affected of the control release, those delivering sterilization methods, changes in granulation process. Like if you have changed, you want to change from dry granulation to wet granulation or wet granulation to dry granulations, you have to submit it as a major change. Change in route of synthesis for drug substance and establishing new process to reprocessing. So these are the changes are considered as major changes. Then moderate changes are increase or decrease in production scale, replacement of the equipments. Like if you want to increase small scale to large scale or large scale to small scale, you have to submit by a moderate change. And changes in filtration parameters, scale manufacturing or terminal sterilization of the product, you can submit it as a moderate change. And changes in the method of increased assurance of quality, purity, or potency, they are submitted as a CBE 0. Annual reportable changes are in equipments, addition or deletion of codes of imprinting, and addition or deletion of inactive ingredients. They are the annual reportable changes. Then specifications. So in the like if you want to relax acceptance criteria or delete any part of the specifications or establish a new analytical method validation procedure for testing components or packaging components, you have to file a prior approval supplement for that since they are the like major changes. Then if you want to relax any process acceptance criteria, then you have to file CDE 30. And if you want to change in the specifications to increase the assurance, you have to file CDE 0. Then annual reportable changes are like tightening of the acceptance criteria. So like if you want to change your SA criteria, which is like 100% plus or minus 5 from 100% plus or minus 2, this is the annual reportable changes. So you have to file annual, submit it in an annual report only. And changes related to container closure systems. So major changes are change in primary packaging component. So in the primary packaging component, this change is considered as a major change because this was the primary contact of the products and it may affect the product's overall quality and stability. So it is considered as a major change, and for that you have to require prior approval. And size and shape of the containers, if you want to change the single unit to multiple base containers, these are also considered as a major change. And for the moderate changes, CD 30 and CD 0, like changing that doesn't affect the quality of products and the change in number of units of the labeled amount. So if you want to add a addition or deletion of a desiccant, so desiccant is nothing but a hygroscopic compound which is used to make product dry, like silica gel. So these type of changes are considered in CD 0. Then annual reportable change. Adding or changing the child resistant closure, changing from metal to plastic screw cap, these are the changes are considered in an annual reportable. Then about labeling. So in that major changes is changes based on post-marketing study results or addition of pharmacoeconomic claims based on clinical studies, changes in general pharmacology or clinical study sections. These changes are considered as a major change. And moderate changes are addition of adhesives reported by applicant or FDA, certification of administrative statements, and revisions as per the updated innovative labeling. You have to change your ANDS labeling part. And annual reportable part changes are the layout of the packaging container materials, editorial change, such as if you want to add distributor's name, you can submit it in an annual report. So this is the graphical representations of entire product life cycle management. So real and product life cycle capabilities, these are the things. Then which are the opportunities you can find in a regulatory affairs field? So regulatory professionals are employed in the pharmaceutical industries, in government like drug inspectors. You can get employed in CDL labs and in the academia as well as assistant professor. You can get employed. So with respect to the pharmaceuticals industry, these are the details information. So in the pharmaceuticals, you can join in as a regulatory API. department, but for that you have to be very strong with the medicinal chemistry parts. Then about the CMC, Module 3, Module 2 part. Then about the labeling part, publishing, PCTD, and post-approval departments are there. You can get exposure in excipient department also, medical device. This is a very good field. Then biologicals and biotechnological field, which is very emerging. Herbal products and nutritional products, which are running items. Cosmetic industry is evergreen industry, and veterinary products, like animal products, which are considered over here. Then how to be a good regulatory professional. So by understanding legal and scientific matters, you can become a good regulatory affairs professionals. Then by having right first time approach. So by having right first time approach is like it's not like that FD has raised a query and you have responded in a timely manner. It's like avoiding at the first place only. So that was right first time approach means. Then ability to tackle scientific data and interpretations. Then quickly grasp new concepts and complex technical informations. Then ability to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the technical and legal options open to the company, and by becoming a good strategic planner, you can be a good regulatory professional. So these are the best things about our field, according to me. It is very challenging and dynamic fields. Combination of knowledge and skills from many different fields you can utilize over here. You are the guardian of the image and integrity of the organizations you work for. It is resistant to industrial recessions. Our professionals are in demand, and the demand is very increasing. Senior professionals are increasingly being appointed to boardroom positions where they can advise upon and future influence the strategic decisions of the company. Last but not least, it's the work you can really be proud of. So these are the best things. Now about learning resources. So if you want to learn about the regulatory much in details, so you can refer ICH guidelines. Then this is the like CDER world. In that you find e-learning courses. So this is the link of that. I'm opening it. So in this part, you find different courses like e-learning courses currently available in the CDER, FDA Human Drug Review Approval Process, World of Compliance, World of Generic Drugs, World of New Drugs. So these are the courses offered by them. Then you can subscribe your mail ID to this CDER Small Business and Industrial Assistance, which is known as CDER SBIU events. You will find different events over here, which can help you to utilize more. So these are the recent events, May 14, May 21, June 30, 31. So this is that page. And Pathload Learning Management Systems. For this particular part, you have to apply. If FDA found you competent, then only they will provide you the details in about that course. So this is the disclosure part. This is my contact details. If you want to connect me, you can contact me by email, or this is just a QR code of my LinkedIn profile if you want to connect. And thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. The session is open for questions. If the participant wants to ask something, they can unmute themselves and ask, or either they can type in the chat box. Yes, participants, any questions?
Oh, yes. Is there any questions?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for this informative session. So on behalf of Cargill University, I would like to felicitate you with an e-certificate. So with your kind permission, I would like to share my screen, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir. So this is an e-certificate from the from School of Pharmacy and Parul University.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And for participants, the feedback link is shared in the chat box, so they may fill the feedback. Thank you once again, sir, on behalf of School of Pharmacy and Parallel University for this informative session and motivating our students and providing information about regulatory affairs.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you, sir.